If you ever tried to save money and immediately felt like it was going to ruin your social life, you're not alone. Because a lot of the ways that we connect with people today cost money. Dinners out, trips, concerts, weekend plans. And after a while, it can start to feel like you have either two options: either save money or start saying no and miss out. But that's actually a false choice. You can absolutely have a great social life and live within your means at the same time. And in this video, I want to show you how to do that without feeling awkward, cheap, or rude. In fact, there's something interesting that happens when people start suggesting cheaper plans. Often, others in the group are relieved because chances are you're not the only one feeling the financial pressure. Sometimes people just need someone to go first. My name's Obi, and I've studied personal finance for over a decade, and I've worked in the financial industry for years as well. And I've personally run into this exact situation plenty of times. There are three things that make this a lot easier, but most people underestimate how much the second one matters. The first thing that makes this easier is knowing your reason for saying no. When you're unclear about your priorities, every invitation feels like a decision that you have to wrestle with. But when you're clear about what you're working towards financially, those decisions become a lot easier. Maybe you're paying down student loans, or maybe you're building your emergency fund, or maybe you're starting to invest, or just trying to create some breathing room in your finances. Those things matter. And when you're clear about them, it becomes much easier to communicate honestly. Instead of feeling like you have to make an excuse, you can just be honest about what you're working towards financially. You might have to explain that you're focusing on paying down debt, building savings, or investing more right now. You're not apologizing, you're just being honest about your priorities. And most reasonable people respect that. And if someone doesn't, it might be worth thinking about whether they actually have your best interest in mind. Because good friends don't pressure you into decisions they know will hurt your financial well-being. But even when people understand your why, there's still a moment that can feel awkward. And that's knowing what to actually say in the moment. Because just saying no flat out can sometimes feel uncomfortable. But there's a much better way to handle it. The second thing that helps is learning how to redirect the conversation. A lot of people think that their only options are say yes and spend the money, or say no and miss out. But there is a third option. You can suggest an alternative. For example, instead of saying, "No, I can't make it," you might say, "Hey, instead of dinner, would you want to grab coffee this week?" Sometimes I still wanted to get together with someone and have a real conversation, but I didn't want to necessarily spend the money on a full dinner out. So instead, we'd meet at a coffee shop. And a lot of those conversations ended up being even better. You can actually sit and talk without some of the distractions that you might have at a restaurant, and it gives you that connection for just a few bucks. Another option is suggesting something like a game night. I've recommended that plenty of times when I wanted to spend time with my friends. Everyone brings a snack or something small and you hang out. You play games, you talk, and you catch up. The purpose of getting together wasn't the activity. The purpose was spending time together. And once you realize that, you start seeing more creative options for how to spend time with people, which leads to the third piece. Because here's something that surprises a lot of people when they first try this. Sometimes your friends are actually glad you suggested something cheaper. When it comes to social plans, groups often just go with the first idea someone suggests. So if the first idea is a $70 dinner or an expensive trip, that's where the group goes. But when someone suggests something different, the whole direction can change. I've seen this happen many times in my own friend groups. There have been plenty of moments when someone suggested a cheaper plan and I was genuinely grateful. Even if I could technically afford the more expensive option, saving money and still having a great time was always a win. And often, other people in the group were feeling the same way. It's a little like when you're sitting in class and nobody wants to raise their hand to ask a question. Everyone's afraid of looking stupid. But then that one person raises their hand and suddenly everyone else is relieved. A lot of times, social spending works the exact same way. And this doesn't mean expensive plans are bad. Nice dinners, trips, and experiences absolutely have their place, but they don't have to be the default every single time. A lot of the best memories people make together don't come from how much money was spent. They come from the time spent together. And if you're trying to get more intentional with your money overall, not just with social spending, I put together a free savings guide that walks through some simple steps to help you start building that habit. I'll leave a link down in the description below if you'd like to check it out. See, the goal isn't to just say no to your friends all the time. It's to say yes to the things that actually matter, the relationships, the conversations, and the time with the people that you care about, just in a way that still respects where you're trying to go financially. And if you've ever noticed that sometimes spending feels automatic, like you didn't even mean to do it, the next video is about how to stop doom spending when it feels like it's on autopilot. Because once you understand that pattern, it becomes a lot easier to stay in control of your money.